I didn't have headphones to cue it.
Oh, there you go.
There it is. This is my new favorite album.
The night they invented champagne, as plain as it can be, they thought of you and me. The night they invented champagne, they absolutely
It's you and I discussing whether we're going to keep playing this song.
fly to the sky on champagne.
Maybe I'll just play
And
this
shout to everyone inside.
I like it a little
Since the
sloppy.
roof began, no woman or a man has ever been as happy as we are tonight.
She made stuff. Who is this?
I'm not entirely sure because it's really hard to read while it's spinning. A.J. Lerner.
It's not that album?
Well, oh right. It's Frankie DeVol and his orchestra. But that doesn't make. I don't know. She's a babe,
Yeah,
right?
she's hot.
Yeah. Look at this. She's like, oh, you caught me. Oh, I was just picking some poison ivy.
I'm just shooting up some heroin. Drop my needle. I can't find it.
Why did you say that? What about this implies heroin? She doesn't have like the huge heroin hair. These are not poppies. Oh wait, that's opium. I'm so swear. I have no idea. Look, this was my great grandmother's record.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's sacrilege.
Sacrilege. Sacrilege.
I think it's almost over. I love the trill. How come our music doesn't have the trill?
I think we should bring it back.
Yeah, I do feel like Modest Mouse had a little trill. They had a fife and drum part. It was very Massachusetts, which I appreciated. And they're kind of the only ones.
Modest Mouses, aren't they from England? No?
No, they're from Boston, dude.
Are they from? Oh.
They're so Boston, you have no idea.
I saw Modest Mouse once, and the guitarist from Morrissey was playing with them. It was great. It was a major
my
age
universe
difference
just
between.
collapsed in on itself. I don't understand that. I don't know why I feel the need to be up on the mic when I'm dramatic. Is that?
Because you're radio.
I know, I'm so radio. This video thing is freaking me out. I feel the need to like hide behind my hair like an emo girl or something. Hi.
Hi.
Full frontal.
So, welcome to Ear Meal. This is the beginning of season 5, and our guest today is Kristy Baltezore, who often does K-Chung radio. So, to get her on camera is kind of
yeah, I have a thing
unusual-
with anonymity, so this is really a bit. It's a little uncomfortable for me. I put on makeup for everybody. I hope you can see it. And I washed my hair. I'm in the no poo zone right now. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know about the no poo experiment?
No, what is that?
Okay, look. So there's this whole thing where there's this like shampoo conspiracy, right? Like where there's all these people that are like, you gotta get off shampoo. It's damaging your hair follicles. You just gotta get away. So the main kind of way where people talk about the getting off of shampoo, they call it the no poo experiment.
You're gonna have to talk into that mic.
Oh, I do?
Because your voice is too quiet.
The no poo experiment.
What's the no poo experiment?
The no poo experiment is the getting off of shampoo experiment. So like there's this whole movement of people that are trying to get off of shampoo because I do it because I get sick of throwing away plastic bottles every day, but not every day. I don't go through a whole bottle of shampoo in a day, but I get tired of throwing away plastic bottles.
Oh.
So I actually washed my hair. I pooed today.
Oh.
I shampooed today.
Uh-huh.
So, but I don't know
Does
because
it
I was
make
going to
you
be on
feel-
camera.
Oh.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
So
We
for
should move on.
for K-Chung, you don't
For
shampoo?
K-Chung, I do not shampoo every day. I do not. Well, also, it's like a bunch of like punk rock anarchist kids, so they don't care if your hair is shampooed or not.
Right.
They're like, whatever, cool, dude.
No poo.
It's called the No Poo Experiment. It involves a lot of baking soda and vinegar.
No.
All I know is my hair's never been greasier, but I'm working on it. I'm trying.
Just use soap.
I don't know. Use soap?
Regular soap.
Use like face to hair? Just
Soap is soap.
okay. I'll try that.
Is there any big difference between soap and shampoo?
Marketing strategy.
That's right.
I was thinking viscosity.
Viscosity.
Or lack thereof, right? But it used to be that you'd have a shampoo bar.
Ah! I don't know what that is, but really?
It's a bar
Uh-huh.
of shampoo,
Oh.
and which is soap. It's basically soap.
Go there and order a shot of VO5 or something.
Yeah, exactly. Of a shot of VO5 hot oil, and you just sit there, and you're like, "So do you come here often?"
Have you... What were we listening to?
Oh, okay. So we were listening to. So one of the things. So I'm on K-Chung.
Right.
Every Monday from 4 to 5.
Myrtle.
Myrtle Hour every Monday from 4 to 5 on K-Chung.
It's a great show.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Do you listen?
I
Just
do.
kidding.
I
Okay.
do. No, I don't. I only listen to the... I'm not live.
I
is
can
what
tell
meant.
how many people are
Yeah.
listening live.
I don't-
and
I
know
don't-
it's just me.
No, because it's at 4 and I'm at work.
I know it's a
But
weird.
I
hour.
have listened to the archives.
The archives are
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
I listened to you and Jen Moon and so... Those are the 3 shows I like.
I do. There's a lot of really great shows, and I don't catch.
There's 70 of them.
Well, and it's a little hard too because like I had my KXLU kind of scheduled down,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of my favorite K-Chung shows are at the same time as my favorite KXLU shows. So now I'm like torn because I have this loyalty to K-Chung because I'm
Right.
a DJ
That's right.
and a station manager, and then KXLU is there, and I have this history with KXLU as a listener. So it's this kind of like I'm having radio. I feel like I'm cheating on
Oh,
K-Chung every time I listen to KXLU. I'll be honest. Breaks my heart.
Wow.
Yeah,
Do you give money to KXLU?
I do not.
No.
But I do give money to K-Chung. Mostly because it's required.
Oh.
But sometimes I give a little extra. Like this month I had a little extra. So I was like, oh, you took your automatic withdrawal? You know what? I'll give you another.
Aw.
So, yeah.
That was nice of you.
That's the only way we can pay the rent. We're totally...
It's a co-op.
Wouldn't go that far. That might be
No.
a little organized.
Oh.
Yeah. I like to describe K-Chung as an anarchist art collective that sometimes has radio shows.
Oh, okay.
But I think that definition might vary between each individual person. But I do have to say K-Chung has been really amazing for me because my background is, I mean, I have a background working collaboratively, but most recently, like, I was really interested in doing public art.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things we always sort of talked about was this idea of how do you build consensus, and then also how do you engage people to become leaders within their own kind of right. And so K-Chung has been really great because it does have this very like non-hierarchical anarchist perspective where it's like you have an idea, you throw it out to the group, and if the group likes it, then you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And if the group doesn't like it, then it doesn't fly. Or you find other people from an external position that are willing to come in and help. So right now we are planning a number of programs for the Hammer Museum,
Mm-hmm.
which is like super exciting.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Did the Hammer approach you guys?
The Hammer approached us.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's very similar to we're doing a residency that's very similar to the residency. I'm not sure if I should look at the camera or not. Okay. It's very similar to the residency. I just wanted to be honest for, another moment. It's very similar to the residency that Machine Project did at the Hammer a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So they're another artist collective. They are much more structured than we are, and I feel like Mark Allen is definitely the face of Machine Project, where I don't even know Solomon's last name. He's
Solomon
really
is
nice.
Wonderful.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
I love how he's like, I told everybody I had a radio show, or a radio station. He didn't even say he had a radio show. He said he had a radio station,
Oh.
and then he did. And that's how he describes the origin of K-Chung. It's like an immaculate conception.
Nice.
You're like, all right, Saul, that's amazing. So K-Chung's been really great for me, and I do the Myrtle Hour every Monday. And basically what the Myrtle Hour is I have a number of records. This one that we just played with the heroin addict. Our lovely heroin addict.
Oh, I was just joking.
Just kidding.
She's a
lovely woman.
She's a lovely woman.
She's a lovely.
Isn't she a lovely woman, Mark?
She's great, right? So this is one of the albums that so all the albums I play on Myrtle Hour are albums that I inherited from my grandmother and my great grandmother, and this is one of them. This is actually my discovery of the week. So, but you saw the origin of Myrtle, which was a project I did with another artist named Stephen Van Dyke, who does public art off Mulholland Drive, which was the Mulholland de Rive last December.
Right.
So that was like a ton of different artists that were doing independent projects, and basically I brought out all the records for the first time.
Right.
And had the record player and had the records available for everybody that came by to play.
You had them in a truck.
I had them in the back of my truck.
Yeah, that's a nice truck.
It's for sale if anybody wants a 1993 Dodge Dakota with a very big smash on the side, but it still runs. But yeah, so yeah, it was off the back of my truck, and so that sort of started me thinking about like all these different things that have sort of been present in my art for a really long time. And I've really started to realize that like I need to be more on the mic. Okay, thanks. You can just tell me. You don't have to be so subtle.
Why is her mic over here? She's facing this way.
I know. This
can.
mic should probably be here.
Now's the time to figure this out.
Yeah.
No, this is like totally in alignment with how I usually do things. If you've ever
This is
listened
more
to
K-Chungy with the microphones.
yeah, if you've ever listened to the Myrtle Hour, you know that there are a series of, we'll call them bloopers because it's friendly.
Adjustments.
Yeah, the last show had an effect that made it very spooky.
Oh, what happened?
I don't know. Some button was pushed somewhere. I have a limited knowledge about audio.
Who was the dog? Is that your dog?
Oh, no, that was my friend Mary Beth's dog, Birdie. Yeah, that was my guest's dog. Yeah, Birdie's awesome. My guest is awesome too, but her dog is cool too. So where were we? What was I talking about? The family? Oh, no. So, yeah, okay, so anyways, so I've been doing art for a really long time, and I recently kind of started realizing that I have a lot of art that revolves around food as a kind of structure and metaphor for a number of different things. So I just wanted to start, before I show any pictures of my work, by reading from this recipe card that is my family's recipe for apple dumplings. And it's from my grandmother, Carol. So I don't know if you can see this grandma script here, but right here at the bottom, this is a hint of what's to come. That is the word Mountain Dew. Okay, so I'm going to read this. Did you get it? Okay, cool. Grandma Carol's apple dumplings. 2 tubes of crescent rolls. 2 Granny Smith apples, which we don't know if those are green or red. I get the inkling they're green.
Are they green? Granny? Yeah,
they're
right,
green.
yeah.
Okay, Mark has confirmed they're green.
Yeah.
A cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of cinnamon, 2 sticks of butter. Slice the apples in fourths. That's what it says. And roll into the rolls. Place in the pan. Melt together the sugar and butter until it's completely melted. Divide over the dumplings. Add Mountain Dew around the edges of the pan and bake at 350 for 30 to 40 minutes. So that's just like a little insight into my upbringing.
Where were you brought up?
I'm from Wyoming.
Wyoming.
So all of my family recipes involve like a can of, a box of, or a tube of something as the first ingredient.
Awesome.
And many of them involve soda, which I find fairly interesting and pretty amazing that I have teeth still.
Yeah.
Because we drink a lot of soda. So, some of the things that inspired me growing up, besides, like, you know, these amazing family recipes, and I think maybe I despite being immersed in that kind of family food making, we also had a garden and we did a lot of canning and a lot of pickling. I think I understood that, like, soda really shouldn't be an ingredient in your apple dumpling recipe. And so
but it works, right?
But it works. Yeah, it's actually really tasty, and I encourage
say-
all of you to write this down and make it, because it's pretty delicious. I have to say, it becomes a caramel kind of. I mean, it's butter and sugar and lemon, which is caramel if you really break it down.
I used to work with this artist, Young Chi,
Uh-huh.
and she taught us how to make Korean barbecue,
Nice.
and one of the key ingredients was 7-Up.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Coca-Cola. That's awesome.
No, she was specifically 7-Up.
For the flavor and for the...
Yeah,
Sort
the
of.
lemony thing and...
Yeah. Somebody told me
Carbonated
today
water
that to
kind
make
of
a
thing.
really good spanakopita... Oh, you know, it was Renee Petropoulos was telling me...
Hi,
that-
Renee!
Hi, Renee! I didn't self-promote. I was in class. I felt a little awkward being like, you guys should listen to your meal tonight, because I'm going to be honest, guys. I'm in graduate school, but
Renee's been on it.
Renee's been on it. That's
Yeah.
true. I could have told her and I wouldn't have felt too embarrassed. There's something bad about being in graduate school and be like, I already got a show, suckus. Like, so I'm sort of like... I feel bad. I don't want to be a jerk, you know? Do you know? You're laughing. That's why you're... Yeah. Anyways. I got a show.
No shame.
No, there's no shame.
No shame.
But so Renee was telling me... Back to the soda and the spanakopita. Yes. Renee was telling me that one of the key ways to make a really good spanakopita is that once all the... It's like phyllo dough and... some stuff and some more phyllo dough and some more stuff and then phyllo dough on the top. I don't know, I'm not Greek. But at the very end, you pour soda water over it, and there's something about the soda water that makes the pastry like puffier.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess it's the bubbly, right?
Sounds wonderful.
That, yeah, I'm waiting for it. I would love some spanakopita.
But you're pouring it. You're not mixing it into the dough.
No, you
You're pouring
pour it over the top. That's what she said. You sort of like
All right.
drizzle it.
Nice. We have to make that one too.
Yeah, we need a whole night where we just like cook with soda.
Yeah. Soda recipe.
We don't tell anybody because all of our friends are like, no, I don't drink soda. It's gross.
Speaking of, look, Mark finished both bottles of root beer already.
Root beer's not soda. Yeah,
Oh my God.
nice. I like that. That's good. Okay, so,
we should talk about your art.
yeah. Okay, so my art is really heavily influenced by like this odd collection of things, like, and one of them. So I've only recently realized this, so this might sound a little like flip and a little cheeky, but it's really sort of how it is. One of the things I realized that my art is heavily influenced by is this thing called a sugar egg, which is an egg-shaped thing that's hollow inside, and it's made completely out of sugar, and the edges are sort of decorated with frosting, and it's sort of like a little Easter display. So inside there's usually like a little bunny and like some flowers. Sometimes there's a family of bunnies, and like sometimes there's like a little sugar butterfly. It's like this little sugar egg shaped house for bunny goodness.
Okay.
It's an Easter thing. My mom used to give these to me all the time, and I always thought they were really amazing. I have a whole collection of them somewhere at my parents' house, which when I go home for Christmas, it's coming back with me. The other thing I realized
Are they very fragile?
No, because I think they mix them with Elmer's glue, because I do remember trying to eat one when I was a kid, and it didn't go well. I don't think they're edible.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's like a fetishized kind of like Midwest craft.
Okay.
Food craft. So, the other thing I'm really interested in, so there's all these things. I'm really, really into butter sculpture. like people that like sculpt the butter into like two cupids at like a wedding, and then you like slowly like carve butter off the cupid's body to put it on your bread at a wedding.
Yeah.
It's weird, but I'm interested in it.
Uh-huh.
I'm into gingerbread houses,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm really, really into this thing called the Corn Palace, which is in Mitchell, South Dakota, which is where my mother was born. So,
Corn Palace.
yeah. Do you want to know about the Corn Palace?
Okay.
The Corn Palace is, I don't know if it's like town hall or what it is, but the Corn Palace is this building in Mitchell, South Dakota, and it's a pretty substantially sized building. And within the architecture are these sort of frames where each year the farmers from the area bring all these different indigenous corns of all these different colors, and they decorate it. They take the corn cob and they split it in half, and they use it as sort of like a mural tile and create these beautiful murals strictly out of corn. Beautiful patterns, really, really amazing.
Wow.
And it's
Sounds
different
beautiful.
every single year. It's like a competition to see who can do the new, most beautiful Corn Palace.
Wow.
So I have this like really kind of bizarre embedded interest in architecture and food, and because the thing that I think is really interesting is that food is very ephemeral and architecture seems so permanent. So I've been doing a lot of artwork that revolves around the ephemeral nature
Well, let's check
of
some
food.
of it
Yeah,
out.
let's look at some of this stuff. So, is this the first one? I gotta stand up and look and see what it is.
Sure.
Cookies.
Okay, so this is called A Steady Diet of Solids, Liquids, and Gases. And this is one of my earlier works, so it's a little bit didactic. I'll be honest, I was much younger.
Self-critical.
Well, I'm Norwegian and German, it's what we do. So this is a work that largely focuses on, this is like my response to the invasion of Iraq by the United States. So I was really thinking about the idea of like comfort and like what types of things are comforting, and the idea of milk and cookies kept popping in my head because it is one of those things that within a very specific context it is comforting, but outside of that context it could be highly offensive, you know, like specifically the milk. So it's cookies being stormed by cookies being stormed by plastic army men, and the cookies are very oversized, and then an oversized glass of milk, and on top of the glass of milk is actually a projection. And the projection is footage of fireworks in front of New York City, but I cut all the fireworks out. So you just see this like flash of light falling, and then you see like an explosion and like flashing fog or flashing smoke happening. So it sort of implies this like bombing quality. So, and it was interesting too because like during the installation of the piece, people kept asking me if they could eat the cookies, and I found that really disturbing. This is another piece that I'm still working on. This one's called Turf Wars, and it's sort of a comment on gang activity in Los Angeles, but also a comment on how dogs claim their turf on these different poles throughout the city. And so I claim my turf by planting peas in all these perforated poles when I go around the city. So I've been doing this for a couple of years, and I'm documenting it on Google Maps, and I haven't really gone back to see if any of the pea plants have sprouted, but my plan is that hopefully eventually there will be a living map of my travels through the city through these pea plants. This is one of my larger projects. I did this project last fall at the Armory Center for the Arts. They have a satellite location called the Farmery, and it's a house made out of bread. I called it This House Is Not a Home. And it's a 2-day project. I invited people from across the city to bring bread of any type that they felt was either significant in their everyday life or culturally significant to them. And I invited them to come help me build the house. And then the next day we ate it to the ground. And I also invited people from North Pasadena that were part of the food insecure or housing insecure community to come. Because I really wanted to talk about, like, how hunger and homelessness are things that affect, you know, people regardless of their race or sex, or, like, even at a certain point your social class, you know. Like, I know people that make thousands of dollars and then, you know, can't pay their mortgage. And this is a really shoddy picture of my most recent work, which I haven't decided what it's called, but I think it might be called I Hate the Smell of Rotting Potatoes. And this piece is installed at a space called Summer Camp Project in El Sereno, which some of you may know, the lovely Fatima and Janice and Alonda. And basically it's a giant potato battery that eventually this is only like 30 pounds of potatoes you're seeing in the picture, but I had 80 pounds of potatoes fully installed, and it actually lights the chandelier up. So I've been doing a lot of work, and I'm really, really interested in how, like, food has all these, like, sort of ingrained metaphors, and how they vary between different cultures and different sort of cultural perspectives. So that's a lot of what my work is about right now. So
can you explain to everyone how does the potato charge up the chandelier?
Yeah, so the potato battery is, like, really simple science. There's a you take a potato, my Midwest, a potato. That I inherited from my grandparents as well. You take a potato and you put a penny and a zinc coated, aka galvanized, nail in the potato, and you want them no more than like an inch apart. And the copper and the zinc form a sort of natural chemical reaction in the potato, because the potato is moist and salty. And it's best to use smaller potatoes. Larger potatoes are harder because they have more resistance in them, which I just learned, which is why I needed 80 pounds of potatoes.
Good.
So, and there's no difference between organic or conventional, if you were wondering. So you put the penny and the zinc nail in the potato, and then you just wire it in series. You go penny to nail, penny to nail, penny to nail, and then it builds up a larger voltage. So I actually custom made all of the light bulbs for the chandelier. They're actually hollowed out chandelier bulbs that I then put a 4-volt LED in each bulb to lower the voltage, because if I were to do 120 watt bulbs, I would need like 2,000 pounds of potatoes, which I just can't.
At some point it gets a little wasteful, doesn't it?
Well, and that's the other thing too, is because
afterwards?
like I really am like interested in the idea of like food waste and all these other things, and so to create work where food waste is part of the process is something that's really challenging for me. But I'm also very anti-capitalist, so using food as a key material in my work where it's destined to rot and the work actually can't be sold is also fundamental. So, you know, it's like, am I going to fight capitalism or food waste? I'll start with capitalism, and then hopefully we won't have to worry about food waste.
You have a compost?
I do have a compost.
Oh, well then that's good.
I do compost. Yeah. I don't know if my compost will handle 80 pounds of potatoes next week, but if anybody wants to have a slightly sketchy baked potato cookout, Sunday at 8, we'll throw them on the bonfire.
Did we talk about that?
We didn't talk about this. This is the origins of myrtle. Thanks, Mark. You're the best. And this is actually where I met you, Alan.
Yep.
This is, no, we did talk about it a little bit. This is a photo of the record playing event on Mulholland Drive and the origins of the record show on K-Chung. So I just got the time signal. So Time's up. Do I have time for an outro?
Go for it.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna play the flip side of this album. Thanks, everybody.
Hallelujah.